What is up with my hair? I don't know. What's going on, guys? It's Ted from Nerd Immersion here. I'm really hyper because I've had a ton of coffee today, and a couple beers. So, it's time for your D&D weekly update. Got a bunch of cool new video series have started, some continuations, new D&D comics, which I haven't gone to the comic book store to pick up, but when I do, I will do a review. You can count on that. And what's really exciting is this. I know it sounds really stupid, but the survey results for June. A lot of good stuff, and I'm going to run through the survey with you guys. I've already taken it, but we're going to go through it just to show you. Again, these are great because they show how much Wizards of the Coast listens to us, the fans, with our comments about Unearthed Arcana and things like that. So stay tuned. So, let us jump right in. First up, we've got Heroes and Halfwits. I don't think I have the sound on. This is a brand new show, as you can see, a Dungeons & Dragons based show. This is by Achievement Hunter, but I'll be completely honest. I know it's Rooster Teeth adjacent, so you can see this was like a 5-player campaign. I'll be completely upfront. I haven't watched this episode, but I love that it looks like they're doing Roll20. They got a TV table, and they got Wormwood Gaming style boxes. Why don't we listen in a little bit?
So they didn't buy it.
That test we did was for a few reasons. One, to test the...
Goatee? You have a goatee?
Okay.
I'm digging the
Bard, how
tablet hooked up to the
stereotypical.
table.
Three of the greatest naval force ever.
We
You wanna
came
go
in
cave?
wrong. We should have been a little bit friendlier.
I mean,
Sorry, 18.
my initiative is...
Here we go.
The middle of this.
That's
map
me.
here.
I think Irma's gonna get her
So
maul
we can
ready.
see.
Yep, there's me.
I just like
You know the
to-
coolest
This
thing
is
about your
really
character,
cool. I
guys?
love the
Oh, here.
idea.
I
of
feel more
the,
confident when I'm holding onto my hammer.
I love the idea of the digital table screen to play a game. I just can't get into it though. I can't just get behind doing stuff on Roll20 and hooking it up to a tablet to a table. I don't like having I don't like using electronic stuff like that on I feel like it just invites distraction, like having cell phones out and things like that. I do like the height of this table though, because he just like stood right up from that table. He's walking right over. I'm working on building a table myself to play right behind me here, our Tuesday night game, so we don't actually have to sit around my wife's dining room table. So be on the lookout. I will do a tutorial on that. But anyway, Heroes and Halfwits, Episode 1. There'll be a link in the description if you'd like to check that out. Tyrants of the Underdark came out. That is the brand new Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons board game. If you're not familiar, they have several of these kind of it's almost like a campaign of D&D, like almost more one-shotty, but it's a board game that you play through. It has a start and a finish. It's 2 to 4 players. The newest one here is Tyrants of the Underdark. You can check out the rulebook here, or you can order the game. You can see you've got different monsters that you fight and things like that. This one looks actually a little bit smaller, I feel, than some of the other ones, like Temple of Elemental Evil, the board game, or Wrath of a Shardalon, I want to say was one. But you can see Lord of Waterdeep and all these other games that have come out. Lords of Waterdeep you can get digitally as well. But if you're curious about this, it's going to run you about $75. It is out as of right now. I'm curious. Have you guys played any of these style of games? I personally have not. I've mostly stuck with, just the actual tabletop D&D itself. I haven't messed with any of these games. So if you have, let me know, because I'm very curious to see how they play. As I mentioned, this past Wednesday, Dungeons & Dragons number 2, Shadows of the Vampire, has come out. This is a continuation of From Tyranny of Dragons, Minx and Boo, and a couple of the new characters, heading to Ravenloft. The first set, you know what, I should put out a review. I don't know if I'll do a written review or a video review of the first series, the Tyranny of Dragons series of the new D&D comic. It's great, and it does one of the best things I've ever seen of explaining how Thieves' Cant would look to a non-Thieves' Cant user. If anything, I'll pull up just that panel and just do a kind of just a little review on that for you guys at a different point. But anyway, second issue is out. Check out this sweet variant cover with Strahd on his nightmare steed. How badass is that? Episode 2 of the Acquisitions Incorporated series is out as well. Again, these run about half an hour long. They are every Wednesday, I believe, is the date. Let's see, June 15th. Yeah, Wednesday, these release. These are on the Penny Arcade YouTube channel, though, so it's Penny Arcade TV on YouTube. So if you don't follow Penny Arcade, you won't see these updates unless you either watch this channel or keep tabs on Dungeons & Dragons social media. So I've watched about the first half of this episode or so. Things are looking interesting. A lot of weird Trojan dwarf plans. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check that out. Again, link in the description. The thing I'm most excited about, which again always gets me excited, I can see why you guys wouldn't be that interested, but if you actually read into it, there's a lot of information here on any of these surveys. So this is the June 2016 survey. We didn't have one in May because what they did in May was a DM's Guild Spotlight video where they pull out a couple of things and do that for Unearthed Arcana. So, what did we have? We're going to go over some of the stuff that happened previously. So, the April survey, they talk about that. They do say that people have been very much accepting of Dungeon Master Guild content. Myself, as you can see, I do a show here every week highlighting stuff on the DM's Guild. I love it. I've embraced it. I was a little skeptical if you watch some of the older update videos. I was a little skeptical up front because I thought this was going to put a serious hard stop on Wizards of the Coast making actual, canonical in-house material. But that's not the case. We're going to have Storm King's Thunder and Volo's Guide to Monsters coming out later this year. But they said it's very well received, and a lot of people are slotting DM's Guild content right into their games. So that's great news, especially for you guys if you're content creators. The Gothic Heroes is what gets reviewed here. This had a lot of the cool Barovian-themed classes. They had the Revenant race, which they said it was fairly poorly received. And they think the reason why, and I must say, I think I mentioned this myself when we talked about it, is the fact that there's a plot point in the character creation makes, the Revenant's whole purpose for being is they have come back from the dead, and they are on a mission to complete a task. Once they complete that task, however, they die. They can't die before then, but once they complete their task, they just flat out are dead. So I think it definitely agrees that it works great as a DM tool. A DM PC, if you have to make one, would be great for a Revenant, because if, your players you're expecting a new player to join a month from now, and you want to actually start playing now, you could have a Revenant character that you play, that once he completes his task, which will take roughly a month, he croaks, and then you bring in the new player. Things like that. The Inquisitive Rogue scored well. Aside from specific issues to clean up, it's in a good place. I mentioned that I thought this was really good. One of its capstone abilities was an extra 2d6 added to its sneak attack damage to give you a grand total at level 20, or level, I guess, 18, 19, of 12d6 on a sneak attack, which is huge. And I can't remember the other options off the top of my head, but it is a very well done rogue. And the Monster Hunter fighter, again, as I've said before, and they kind of echo it in their comments, they seem to do a lot of love for Battlemaster style fighters but specific archetypes that have access to specific maneuvers. It falls flat in conveying flavor. The Monster Hunter and similar fighter archetypes try to address the issue by granting specific uses for superiority dice. However, the final design is coming across as more of a narrow take on the Battlemaster. I think we'll take a second pass to make the build options feel more distinct and flexible. The point being that Battlemaster is one of the weaker, or the sore spots in the player's handbook. I think it can be done well. I think Battlemaster Fighter is best done as a multi-class into something else. Battlemaster Fighter Paladin, Battlemaster Fighter Barbarian, maybe. Barbarian would actually be pretty good because you wouldn't need to worry. You could still use your maneuvers while raging. Battlemaster Cleric, Battlemaster, even Rogue would be interesting. Mixing superiority dice and sneak attack dice. But Yeah, I could see that. I think Battlemaster is solid, but apparently not, so they are looking to expand that. And the June survey, we are going to talk about the feats that were released earlier in June, which, as you know, had me very giddy. That was last week, so here we go. Would you like to rate the material? So, it's going to start off by going through each feat, and there's actually some good opinionated stuff later on, so we'll talk about that. Overall, how do you rank the fell-handed feat? This is the one that works for warhammers, axes, battle axes, great axes, and mauls. I'm not going to go too much into this because I expressed this all last week. Any feat that gives you a +1 bonus to attack roll is great because that's one way you can add more to you and kind of try to break bounded accuracy. If you have a 18, let's say an 18 strength and a magic weapon, you're at 5. This could give you 6. If you didn't want to sink an ability score improvement into your strength, for instance. I like the benefit for advantage and disadvantage. I think that's a cool concept. That being, if you hit with advantage and the second one also would have hit, then you knock them prone. If one of them would have hit when you had disadvantage, then they still take your strength score and damage. I guess this is kind of just like you graze them on the big hammer or axe swing. And then if you choose to help someone, then you can give that person +2 by kind of battering the shield away if the opponent is using a shield, which is specific and makes a lot better use if your character has a means to bonus action help rather than you waste your full action helping. Blade Mastery, again, similar for blades, is a +1 to attack. Parrying Stance is great because it's a reaction, I believe. And just an advantage on opportunity attacks is just solid all the time because that's the difference between an enemy getting away and not. Flail Mastery and Spear Mastery, both in the same vein. Weapons that I would never consider using. Spear, mostly because of the damage die, but that gets fixed with this. And Flail Mastery, just because it's goofy. The flails are goofy. I feel like they only look good in the movies, but the bonuses here make it, I feel like, worth it. Would you use these if it fit your character concept? Absolutely. I'm actually contemplating for Axton, my cleric who plays on Roll for Roll on Sunday nights. I'm contemplating, if the DM's going to allow it, when we hit level 12, to take Fell-Handed. I'm on the fence, but I like the idea of feats that boost your abilities, your weapons. As a DM, would you allow weapon mastery feats in your campaign? 100%. Absolutely. Any expanded feats... I'm a fan of anything that's in Unearthed Arcana is on the table for my game, because I want to help playtest the game, see how these things work to provide my actual comments in these surveys. But also, I mean, extra feats are one of, like... I'm a 3-5 player routinely, so feats are, like, my lifeblood. I love scouring through stacks of books to find the right feat combination to make a completely stupid character build become completely badass. Which of the following would you prefer for a weapon mastery feat? The weapon feat should grant an attack bonus. The weapon feat should grant a strength or dex bonus. This I found some difficulty with. Meaning, rather than a +1 to attack rolls with a maul, it would add a +1 strength. Now that could be big, because if that's big, and if you're on the cusp, and that will jump you from like an odd number to an even number, that will not only add a +1 to hit, it'll also add a +1 to your damage, which is big. However, if you don't have that, then that +1 stat is wasted. You still get these advantages. So my thought process being, I'd like just the free unnamed bonus to attack. I think that's a good call. I think it will work. It will work for everybody across the board, which is good. Which names do you prefer? I prefer colorful names like Fell-Handed over descriptive names like Flail Mastery. Would you be interested in more weapon mastery feats for things like a whip and a crossbow? 100%. Get that shit out there. I want that now. And then just extra comments. And I don't think, is it going to let us skip? No, we're going to have to just go through and check all these things off here so we can get to the next page. Oh, I guess we should probably put that we're satisfied, because I am satisfied, rather than give them false feedback. But this is technically not true feedback anyway. I just want to get this out here because there's more interesting information as we go through. Okay, next. Then the next piece, I guess we're going to go through and click these, are the tool-related feats. This is Alchemist, which gives you a +1 to your intelligence. If you are proficient in alchemy tools, it gives you double proficiency in alchemy tools. It lets you identify potions relatively quickly, and you can improve upon a potion by adding extra stuff to it. The Burglar feat was a bonus to Dex and proficiency in these tools. If you don't have it, it's double. Gourmand was Constitution, double proficiency bonus when making food. You can detect poison, and you can make special meals during a long rest, which I thought was really cool. And Master of Disguise is Charisma and Disguise bonuses, and Mimics. Would you take one of these tools that fit your character? Absolutely. Would you allow these tools? 100%. Would you love tool feats that cover more options? Yes. More options is better. When I did my version of this, I put a comment that said basically, I don't know if I'd ever take Gourmand, but there are not enough bonuses to feats that give bonuses to Constitution. Right now, there's Tavern Brawler, Durable, and Resilient Constitution. If you need that +1, if you're running a human or something like that, Durable Constitution or Resilient Constitution is the only one you're going to take. Tavern Brawler is good thematically, and maybe if your DM decides to allow you to get one extra feat for free, then you go for that. But I feel like it's not that great. And Durable is like you can like when you short rest, you get like an increased number of hit points. There are much better feats out there, or just take the +2 to Constitution. What did you think of the design commentary? This I did like. After each feat, they kind of gave you a comment about what they liked and what their thought process was behind all these feats and why they liked them or didn't like them, and the philosophy. I think that's very good to see that. I'd love to see more of that on all options in Dungeons & Dragons, because it helps us as content creators, as dungeon masters, as things like that. If you want to come up with something yourself, this will greatly help you determine, like, well, what is Wizards of the Coast? How do they do it? How do they go about doing it? And it'll let you know. And then just any additional comments. So that was the survey. R.A. Salvatore is at various conventions coming up. He's going to be at Kineticon in Hartford, which is real. I might be going to that. You might see me there. Tampa Bay Comic-Con in Florida, Cincinnati Comic-Con in Ohio, New York Comic-Con, which I will be at, and Rhode Island Comic-Con, which I will be at. So hopefully I'll get to see him and get to talk to him a little bit about Drizzt and the future and what it's like to design such an iconic hero in Dungeons & Dragons. And lastly, Geekly Inc. is on, what's it called? On D&D Podcast. So they are called Dragons and Drunks, and they call them to talk about their live play podcast that's super strong on story and silliness. So you can go ahead and check that out on the D&D Podcast as well. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for me here. You can click right up here to check out Know Your Role. This is my Tuesday night stream. This is my primary stream as far as things go. This week we are going to be continuing on as we finally discover what Roland's cousin asked him to go about 2 months ago. And unfortunately for the party, the fact that he waited 2 months to address it has led to some interesting developments into what's going on. So you can check that out right up here. We're going to be continuing that on Tuesday, but in 2 weeks' time, I'll just give you a heads up, we're going to be doing our one-shot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness. That's going to be official date for that. Again, I'll put more postings out about this. That'll be the 28th of June. We are doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, a one-shot, because when we broke 200 followers on Twitch, 200 followers rather, on Twitch. And every 50 subscribers after that, we are going to do a resuming of the one-shot that Jake ran for our 150 subscribers, so you can check that out as well. Here in the middle is our Kickstarter spotlight. This week I do it on fantasy coins. It is an awesome, cool, real metal coins of all sorts of fantasy designs, whether you want to use these as a conversation piece, as kind of props for your LARP or whatnot, hand out as inspiration, to use as coins to flip in various dice and card games. They're really cool. 15 bucks gets you like 30 coins. You can check them out right here in the middle. And down the bottom is my Dungeon Master Guild spotlight. This week I do epic characters. This was a request from one of my followers and viewers here on YouTube, and he said, hey, can you review the epic characters PDF? And I do. And I gotta be honest with you, for something that's homebrew and fan created for levels 21 to 30, I think that this does a fairly good job. Until we get an official epic level handbook from Wizards of the Coast, I highly recommend using that. The only problem being we don't have epic level monsters to fight, so that's all on fans to homebrew. But if you're thinking about running epic levels, I guess you're probably thinking about epic level monsters as well. So, anyway guys, if you like what this video was about and my craziness as I'm hyped up on caffeine and beer, you can click down here to subscribe to the channel. I put out several videos every week. I do one of these D&D weekly updates every week. I do a DM Guild spotlight every week. I do a Kickstarter spotlight every week. I throw out my Know Your Role streams from the Tuesday every week. And then random other videos interspersed between. I do D&D 101 stuff to help you guys understand how Dungeons & Dragons works, at least 5th edition. Gonna have a lot of convention-related videos. I just got back from Wizard World Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, and I started rolling out the videos for that. And I'll do a more formal announcement of this, but I'm going to be heading to Too Many Games in Pennsylvania this coming weekend, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. I will be there. This is a really awesome convention if you get a chance to go. I super like it. And I will be there, possibly meeting up with some other D&D role-playing fans, and we might be playing a game or two. But there's tons of awesome stuff there to see, so be on the lookout for videos from there as well. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.